Hey YouTube friends, monthly update videos are definitely some of my very favorite videos to film. And you would think being the end of winter that actually I wouldn't have a lot to talk about, but you might be surprised to know that completely the opposite thing happened. So what have I got on the table beside me today? I've got some favorites, of course. I've got some plants that are in the naughty corner. I've got one plant that's even annoyed me so much, it's found its way to the plant club table. And I've also got two new dark leaf plants to show you as well. One of them is actually a wishlist plant that I wasn't even sure I could get in Australia because I hadn't really seen them in nurseries before. So that was actually a really nice surprise, completely unplanned. But before we dive into the winter update, if we haven't met before, hey, I'm Mel, and welcome back to my planting channel. I really appreciate you spending time with me today. I created this planting channel to share with you my 150 plus plant collection, mistakes and all. It's all just about sharing my experiences, my tips and tricks, and lots of planting experiments along the way. So if that sounds like you, grab yourself a warm drink, get comfy, and let's talk about plants. Let's bring out the big guns straight away. This Aglaonema is 100% my very favorite plant over the last few weeks. It's one of those plants, I have always loved it. And for anyone that's been on my channel, apologies, you've seen this probably far too many times. It used to live on my front patio and I moved it inside for winter because I wasn't sure if it was getting enough light, and because it's a favorite, I still wanted it to be nice and healthy all the way through winter. But then I actually needed a spot on our kitchen bench. I don't know if anyone else has them in their homes, but on our kitchen bench, we've actually got a PowerPoint cut into it. And now that it's getting old, it just keeps popping up. There's nothing keeping it down. And so I'm always putting something on top of it to weigh it down. So I thought, why would I just keep putting random things on that spot to keep the PowerPoint down? I've put this guy on it because it's in a nice heavy terracotta pot. We haven't ever had plants in the kitchen before. I tend to keep it fairly clear of plants. It's probably my only room in the house, apart from our children's bedrooms, that doesn't have plants. But my whole family have been commenting on how much they love this plant. So I think that's been a pretty positive move for this plant. And it's just getting lots and lots of this bright, beautiful light that you can see behind us every day. So as you know, I don't buy too many of my plants. I'm very lucky through swaps with friends and the swaps with Plant Club. But this one I did actually purchase online. And from the moment it arrived, it has just been up there with one of my favorites. And it doesn't disappoint, guys, and I'm just really appreciating it being in the kitchen because now I get to see it even more times per day than when it was living on the front patio. So that is my number one plant for winter, absolutely, this beautiful Aglaonema and this new pot. So while we're talking about Aglaonema, let's talk about the plant that is well and truly even past the naughty corner. It is so past the naughty corner. This is the plant that will actually go on the swap table at Plant Club this month. So I got this Aglaonema and the one, my favorite that I just showed you, I bought them at exactly the same time. They're in the same sort of soil. I watered them the same. They were sitting in the same spot on the patio. Look at the difference in the growing pattern of this plant compared to the one I just showed you. And if you guys have watched some of my very early videos, I don't know why, but growth pattern is a really big thing for me, apparently, and I'm just not enjoying it. The color is just lovely, as you can see, and many of the ladies from Plant Club have actually been asking me to propagate this for them. But you know what? I'm going to do even better. I'm just taking the whole parent plant to Plant Club. I know I can probably cut this and propagate it and bush the pot up, but seriously, I found this to be quite a slow growing plant, and just to even get to this size, it's taken quite a long time. Let me just pick my favorite up and show you the size difference. Look at the difference. And they've been growing, as I said, same soil, same watering, same light conditions. I could propagate this and I could bush it up, but you know what? This one is just doing it so much easier for me in the same location. And as you know, I'm all about enjoying our plants and them not taking up too much of my time or my energy. And truly, I don't love this one enough, if I'm honest, for it to take up too much more of my energy. But I know there's a number of ladies at Plant Club that would absolutely love this plant. And so that is exactly where this plant is going in September. So next, let's talk about my Alocasia. So I don't know if you remember, for anyone who watched my videos right at the start of winter, I was asking if this would be an okay location for my Alocasia, because this was actually the first winter that I was about to go through with my Alocasia collection. So I was a little bit nervous, but I got my answer because this is the only Alocasia left standing in the back area. And if you had asked me at the start of winter if any of my Alocasias were going to still be standing out here, I would not have picked the black velvet. It came with pests. In fact, one of my planty friends that came with me from Plant Club when we went to the Brisbane plant exhibition bought one of these as well, and hers died within the first few weeks. I absolutely hammered this with neem oil spray and isopropyl alcohol. I was really harsh with my pest treatment, and I think from memory I may have even cut off all its leaves. I would never call it one of my stronger Alocasias, except apparently in winter, it has lived out here on the ladder for the entirety of winter. I love winter, by the way, guys. Sorry, I know a lot of people think I'm weird with that, but winter is my very favorite season, and we're mid-August, so we're very, very close to spring. And so I think this guy is just going to be able to stay on the patio because the weather is about to start warming up. It started winter with 4 leaves, and it still has 4 leaves. It is the only alocasia I have that has not lost leaves over winter. Our friend here, the Stingray, the Alocasia Stingray, which historically has been my toughest alocasia, she's down to 1 leaf, mainly because it got spider mites. Is anyone shocked? An alocasia got spider mites. And because I was moving so many of my plants inside and they were in such close quarters, I didn't want to muck around. I just cut off all the leaves that had spider mites on them. And this is a new leaf that started growing back since. And look, it looks healthy. It's definitely got some more leaves coming up. And I'm sure it will recover. This has, out of all of my alocasia, it is normally my toughest plant. So having it down to one new baby leaf feels a little bit weird. It's normally the alocasia that I need to make space for. The Amazonica is also down to 1 leaf. We were only just becoming friends in summer, if you remember. It had finally passed the 1 leaf club, and I think it was up to 3 leaves last time I showed you. But it's taken the opportunity in winter to go back to the 1 leaf club, unfortunately. So it's also found itself moved into the propagation room under some grow lights. Also in the naughty corner is my Regal Shield, which is normally up there with being hardy, or just as hardy as my Stingray. But this guy has also taken the opportunity in winter to go down to the 1 leaf club, and it doesn't even have pests as an excuse. It's down to this one quite small leaf. See, it's only just about the size of my hand. It does look like it's got another leaf that's starting on the stem, and there is a culm in there that's sprouting as well. So I feel fairly confident that it will definitely come back after winter, but it was just, once again, usually my Regal Shield and my Stingray are pretty hardy, but even these guys have gone down to 1 leaf in winter. And then this alocasia, that was a turning point for me. When this alocasia started dropping leaves and producing, the new leaves that it was producing were quite small, I thought, that's it. The alocasia just needs to go inside in winter. That is absolutely my question answered, because this was the alocasia, if you remember, that I got from Plant Club as the tiniest little leaf. It may have even been a culm. I didn't even know it was an alocasia. It has grown so much for me over summer and spring that I've actually separated it, given some away at Plant Club. But this is probably half the size that it was before winter. It really, really hasn't coped with winter out here on the patio at all. So it also is in the recovery or naughty corner in the propagation room under the grow lights. It had actually started even losing some of its colour. So I'm really happy to show you that a lot of its colour is back at least. I mean, it hasn't started growing, obviously, but it does have its colour back. I decided to go in and get the Frydek for you because any excuse to show off my Frydek, guys. So this is the latest leaf that has almost finished hardening off. I love that bit of colour down here, down the bottom. I was hoping it would go a little bit more white, but I'll blame it on the winter light. And look at this. Just so beautiful. I can absolutely see why people just love these plants. I'm trying to think, it had either 4 or 5 leaves before the start of winter, so I obviously didn't put this one in the bathroom quick enough. But anyway, it's healthy. It does look like it's got some new leaves coming up. Hopefully, now that we're almost at the end of winter, this one will pick up and pop some more leaves out for me as well. Does anyone else enjoy winter? Winter is definitely my favorite season, probably because I live in Southeast Queensland and our winters are pretty mild. There's something that I love about wearing jackets and boots and scarves and just getting all of our cozy accessories out, drinking warm tea. I don't know, there's just something really cozy about winter. And I feel completely ripped off this year because we have had what feels like a really, really short winter. Usually we get these westerly winds around exhibition time, and then we get one more really small cold snap, and then we're into spring. But back to the plants. So this is my second favorite plant for winter. You guys know I love snake plants. They are the plant that started it all for me, and I will forever be grateful. And this was that tubular snake plant that one of my lovely planty friends gave me that she didn't have room for in her house anymore. It did develop some scale on it probably 2 or 3 weeks ago now. I just cut off the worst affected leaves. I've treated it with some isopropyl alcohol spray and also some ongoing neem oil spray. It does seem to be recovering really well. It's got some new shoots down in there, but just like the Aglaonema, how I'm finding excuses to go in the kitchen to look at it, I'm doing the same with this. This sits on the ladder over in our lounge room. I'm absolutely delighted because where the ladder is in the lounge room, it's a south facing window, and for it to be going so well and actually having new shoots, is a really great sign, because you can just imagine it makes such an awesome feature fitting on top of that ladder. I absolutely love this guy. Also, I'm not sure if you noticed, guys, I've tried to make sure that I've got no Epiprenum, and I've also put no Ripsalis in this video because I made that spotlight on jungle cactus video last week. So I've made sure in this video that I haven't included either of those two types of plants, just because I feel like I've talked about them a lot over the last few weeks, which actually is a really good segue into the plant that I brought out here that's standing behind me, because I feel like this is a plant that I don't remember the last time I talked about it to you guys, and it is just such a staple in my collection. I'm so grateful to have this plant. So this is actually my good old lucky bamboo. When I purchased it, it was called a fortune bamboo. So when I did a little bit more googling and chat GPTing, I found out no, this is actually just a lucky bamboo, and some companies here in Australia apparently call them fortune bamboo for not sure what reasons. And the funny, not so funny story with this guy is I had a lucky bamboo, if you remember, start of the year, I think I finally put it in the compost bin. I had this lucky bamboo that was tiny and it never grew. I used to have it on my university desk, and I thought, I'm such a bad plant parent, I can't even grow a lucky bamboo. Who can't grow a lucky bamboo? Seriously. In the meantime, this guy is going so big that I've actually propagated it so many times. I've given an entire plant almost this big to my sister. I've done propagations for friends and family. It just keeps growing. I know you probably can't see it. The pot is on the ground. The top of the plant is above my head. But thinking it was a fortune bamboo, obviously knew it was a Dracaena, but thinking, oh, you're still not growing that lucky bamboo. Anyway, the relief, seriously guys, when I found out that this is a lucky bamboo, apparently I can actually grow them. And I put the little lucky bamboo in the compost finally after about 20 years, something I should have done a long time ago. It always had some sort of pest or fungus on it. It was just never happy. It was potentially my complete beginner luck of cow, or maybe it just came sick in the first place. I will never know. This plant has restored my faith in the fact that I can grow Dracaenas, but also I absolutely love it. It really does feel like it brings that jungle vibe to anywhere where I put it. This is a propagation because I thought it might be easier to show you. I've only got the leca in here for a bit of stability because it was flopping around a little bit. See, the mouth of the jar is quite wide, but I like the look of these in leca, but you can just grow them in straight water. They propagate super easily. I just found I had this in water for a long time because I just love the look of it. I had this massive glass vase with water and it looked beautiful, but with my clumsiness, can you imagine how many times I knocked that over? So it's now in my DIY chunky mix in a self-watering setup. It is so much more stable and it doesn't get knocked over anywhere near as much. All the little propagations I still grow in glass vessels in water because I absolutely love the look of these. These bigger guys I definitely just put in self-watering. It's in about a 30 or a 35 centimeter pot. So I actually do have a cover pot on it, and so hence out of sight, out of mind, I do forget to water it, and it is just so forgiving. When I finally remember to water it, I just top the water up and it just keeps growing for me. It is definitely not one of my light hogs. It is also growing in what I would call a medium light location. So I'm feeling really grateful for this plant in winter, and I really don't think I've give it enough airtime. Maybe you guys will be seeing it a little bit more in future videos. So the next plant that I've got for you, I'm going to have to put a picture up here because it's actually out on our front patio and it's in a macrame hanger. So just like my Ripsalis last week, I really try not to take plants in and out too much of the macrame hangers. So it's my strapleaf Anthurium, which I don't know, I've had for at least 2 years, maybe even 3 years now. I think we're up to about the 3rd or 4th location trying to find its happy place here. It's always gone okay, but it's never thrived. I think sometime in autumn, so it's been a few months now, I put it in a macrame hanger on the front patio, and for the first time ever it has 5 or 6 leaves, which is the most leaves that it has ever had, and none of them are ripped, broken, crooked. I think, guys, I might have actually found its happy place. And so this has been doing this throughout winter. So I absolutely cannot wait to see what it does as the weather warms up. Another plant that has surprised me so much over winter. So pretty much I've had this plant, I reckon for about 3 years I've had this plant. I was given it from a friend who was completely downsizing her collection. Life was just too busy for her with her own business and kids and all the things. When she gave me the Birkins, I didn't even really know what it was because, let me see, do I have any? All the leaves just sort of look like this. It looked very much even like my baby rubber plant, my peperomia. I actually thought it might even be that because all the leaves were just that dark green color, and it was so small and it was quite unwell. I can't remember what pest it had on it, or fungus or bacteria, but it wasn't well. But slowly it started growing, and one of the leaves got the tiniest bit of variegation, and I was able to ID it. I worked out it was a Birkins. I've tried it in a few different spots around the house. It has actually been getting some of those lovely coloured leaves, variegated leaves that Birkins are famous for. But I haven't really had a good place for it because, as I said earlier in the video, I'm very much about growth pattern. And you can see the way that this guy just naturally wants to grow. I reckon this guy has had 7 or 8 locations in our house because I just haven't been able to find the right spot where it looks good. And so for that reason, it has been on the You're Going to Plant Club list for month after month after month. And it is missed out every time because I can't bring myself. Every time I think, that's it, you're going to Plant Club, I've got absolutely nowhere to put you. You just don't look aesthetic anywhere in the house. You're not making me smile. Then it keeps popping out these leaves. And then I think, oh, I love those leaves. I can't get rid of it. Anyway, long story short, because I've moved all of my Ripsalis now off the entry wall, I had some spots open up. And this guy, this random growth pattern that it has actually looks decent on the entry wall. So for the first month ever since I started Plant Club, this guy is not on the You're Going to Plant Club list. Usually over winter you can take a bit of an exhale when it comes to pests, but I've had the spider mites on my Alocasia, I've had mealybugs pretty broadly across my collection on and off. I've had the caterpillars already last week on my Curly Sue. I'm a little bit worried about what summer might bring because pests have been pretty consistent for me over winter, which I haven't really experienced before. So I'm holding my breath, I have to say, when it comes to summer to see what the pest situation is going to be with my collection. So this is another good news story. I got given it from a friend's neighbour who was moving. I only took it because it was sitting in behind some of the other plants that I was taking, and it was so sick and so covered with mealybugs. I felt sorry for it. So for anyone who saw this when I first got it, I basically decimated it. I cut off most of the leaves. It was really, really hard on the pest because I didn't want them spreading. I've been alternating and hitting it with my neem oil spray and my isopropyl alcohol spray. And the good news is the mealybugs do seem to have gone. The few original leaves that I did keep, for anyone who hasn't seen one, let me just show you. Look at these. I'd seen them before in other people's collections, but I think when you see them online, you really don't get a feel for what the plant actually looks like in real life. And I kept thinking, no, I don't think that really fits in with my collection. But wow, I was absolutely wrong. In fact, this fits so well into my collection. I'm absolutely in love with this plant. I split it in 2 when I got it because it was so unwell, and I thought I wanted to hedge my bets and make sure I had a backup plant. The backup plant is going equally as well as this one, and I absolutely can't wait until some more of these little shoots grow so that I can propagate even more, because I've got a number of locations around my house that I think these guys will be absolutely perfect for. I'm always on the lookout for plants that do well in medium light locations because I've got so many plants in my collection that really rely on that brighter light. It's a breath of fresh air to find a plant that is doing well and growing in a more medium light location. So this one is on our entry wall where I had to move all those jungle cactus away from because it wasn't enough light. And the other one that's doing equally as well is on that south facing ladder in our lounge room. And both of them are going amazing. So I don't know what I was thinking all this time. I definitely need more of these plants in my life. So the last 2 plants that I have to show you are the 2 new plants that I mentioned. As you all know, I have enough plants. I do not need 2 new plants. And if I bring 2 new plants into my collection, it means that 2 have to go. So where did these new plants come from? The local op shop where we had been having our monthly catch up is actually closing down in November. At the same time, a local nursery has opened just 5 minutes up the road. And of course, I've already gone in. The owners know me on a first name basis. And when they found out about Plant Club, they said that they were looking to start a community as well. And would it be okay to host Plant Club in their nursery? So their grand opening was 2 weekends ago now. So I thought I'll go in there, just say hello and have a look around, get to see our new space. And then I spotted these 2 plants and they were all on sale because it was the grand opening day. So this one that I've been holding in my hand is a philodendron related to the Brazil and the Micans. I love a trailing philodendron. The camera is just not going to do it justice. Those beautiful silvery leaves. This plant caught my eye from across the room. I turned my head, I saw the silver on the leaves and I thought, I need to find out what that plant is. And then when I found out that it was a trailing philodendron, fortunately, it's looking a little bit unhappy with me because 2 or 3 days ago now, I did transition it into my self-watering setup because it was in soil and my sinuses struggle at this time of year as it is. And so I really needed to get it out of the soil. It hasn't been too bad. We've only had 1 or 2 yellow leaves and I'm sure it'll pick up over the next few weeks now that the weather's warming up as well. So that was my first one. What do you guys think? Wow, the color of those leaves is spectacular. And then there's this guy. And as soon as I walked into the shop, so I spotted this one before I spotted the trailing philodendron. I don't know if the camera is going to do it justice, but look at the color of those leaves. It is so dark and it fits in so well with my dark leaf obsession. So just like the other philodendron, I've just transitioned this into a DIY chunky self-watering. So far, it's also going well on the entry wall, so filling a gap of one of those jungle cactus that I had to move. This plant has been on my wish list for a few years because every few months I go onto Pinterest and I go onto Google and I type in dark leaf houseplants because I don't know, I love dark leaf houseplants. It's just a thing for me. And the black dove has popped up quite a few times, but I've never ever seen them available in Australia before. Maybe I've missed them, guys. If you live in Australia, maybe tell me differently, but I've never spotted one in Australia, particularly in the nurseries. As soon as I walked in the door, I knew exactly what this was. And I said to the owner, oh no, you've got a black dove. Well, I'm going to have to buy it now. And I got to spin the wheel and I got 10 or 15% off. So this guy was definitely coming home with me and it hasn't disappointed so far. And in my defense, I did need a few more plants that would go on that entry wall. There's just something really lovely when you haven't been actively looking for a wishlist plant and you just walk in and randomly find one. I have got so many more plants that I could have talked to you about today. I seriously can't believe that I had this much to say at the end of winter. But for anyone who's stuck around to this part of the video, thank you so much for spending time with me today. I really, really appreciate it. And as usual, I'm a small channel. I absolutely love reading all of your comments. If you've got any plenty comments or suggestions for my channel, please whack them down in the comments. They always make me smile. And until my next video, guys, I hope you have an absolutely amazing and plenty week. Take care and remember, you've totally got this.